and hello and welcome to the 152nd episode of GameSpeak Podcast. New episodes go for free feed subscribers every Wednesday in audio format on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and all of your favorite podcast platforms, as well as in video format on YouTube so you can see us in stunning high definition, where we need you to smash subscribe and drop kick that like button and notification bell at the same time. This show is two childhood BFFs bringing you all things video games. You can find us online at createforsanity.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter to never miss an episode and buy sick t-shirts from our shop. Also, be sure to join the community in the Facebook group at facebook.com/group/GameSpeakPodcast to hang and talk games with other nerds like us. I'm one of your hosts, JAMAL Al-Jafra, alongside Brent, I like to party, Bass.
Lottie, dottie, brother.
Lottie dottie, I'm at the party.
How's everything going, Jamel? How's the world treating you?
Well, it was good till I woke up.
Life sucks.
Yeah. Nihilism.
That's terrible, man. I'm
just
sorry
kidding.
to hear that.
No, it's been okay. How about you? How's your life been?
Oh, it was pretty great. Till I woke up.
Oh my god, dude!
No.
All of those improv classes are paying off right now. No, but
oh man,
yeah. So this week, I started watching a little show called Lock and Key. Did you get around to this?
Okay, so yesterday we talked a little bit about this, and I was super unfair. I was harsh on the show. I hadn't tried it well enough. I only gave it like 3 minutes, literally. I realized that when I shot the show back up, and I gotta say, I've only watched 2 episodes so far.
Same.
Per Jamel's recommendation, but it's very interesting, and I'm getting Harry Potter vibes from it. You know what I mean? But also like Oculus vibes. You know that movie Oculus?
Exactly. Where it's like a video game as a movie, or like as a show. It's like there's a mechanic, and they have to figure the mechanic out to win against the enemy. So it's like this house with whispering keys in it. So like the dad dies, and they move out to this house that the family owned or whatever, and like obviously some weird shit's going on around this house, and so the youngest kid is starting to hear the whispers of the keys and stuff, and like it just gets weird. Each key does something different. Like the first one he finds, like it'll take you anywhere you want to go. You just have to I guess say it. And
there's this creepy girl in a well, like telling him all the
rules.
Facts about the key. Yeah, it's weird. The whole thing is just really weird. And I'm only on episode 2. I'm kind of into it.
And I found out. So the guy who wrote it, his name is Joe Hill, not Jonah Hill.
Joe Hill.
But that's not his real name. That's his pseudo name.
His Lemony Snicket?
Yes.
His
because
Dr. Seuss, if you will.
Because it is Stephen King's son, and he doesn't want people to relate the story to or compare him to his father.
Really?
Yeah. So this was made by Stephen King's son.
Well, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I like that he learned a little bit from old Papa Bear.
It's weird. The show kind of feels like it fluctuates between really mature subject matter and really childish stuff. But I think it depends on what scene you're in. If you're following the little kid, the mood of the show is kind of childish.
It goes almost even Stevens level.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is funny, and it
is funny. There's a lot of moments that have just made me laugh. Even little moments that spur from the serious parts, are hilarious. I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like the kid is a really good actor.
The kid is a really good actor. The part in episode 2, I won't ruin too much, but where they see him with the key in the head, and they're just like, "What?" I would just crack me up.
Oh yeah,
they're just sitting there having a normal conversation. They look over, and their little brother's just all fucking possessed with a key sticking out of the back of his head. It was just really funny. I don't know.
That I like how they're all just super non-believing in what they saw and stuff. I'm just like, Nah, if I saw someone walk through a mirror, I'm not going to be like, I didn't see that. Like, oh, maybe it was this. I know, somebody just walked through the fucking mirror.
It is weird about the mom. I had where how she doesn't obviously doesn't remember anything, and the uncle doesn't remember stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm excited to see more about that, like why the adults have trouble remembering or whatever,
for sure. And the kid, the uncle is Jimmy Olsen from Smallville.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah. Did you know that that's not the same guy that plays the Iceman on X-Men? He has a twin brother.
What?
Yeah.
The twin brothers are both actors?
Yes.
Wait a minute. So which one did that game Quantum Break?
I don't know.
Wait, you're blowing my fucking mind right now.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna... They're
identical twins? They have to be identical, because they look... I mean, it looks like the... So wait, that's not Iceman?
No.
And...
I don't think so. I'm almost positive. I forget their last name. It's like Ashen or something.
You are blowing my fucking mind right now, dude.
Yeah, hold on. I'm about to blow it more. Hold on.
Dude. Wow. They've got to be the most successful identical twins of all time, Yeah.
Man, this is really... Why can't... Oh, his name is Aaron Ashmore.
What about what's his brother's name?
Let me see. So Aaron Ashmore brother is Sean Ashmore. See, they're literally the same person. Almost.
Same.
And he's Iceman in the X-Men. So Sean Ashmore was Iceman or Iceman. Yeah, and then the other Ashmore was Jimmy Olsen in Smallville.
Wow.
But they're like the same person. They look exactly the same. It doesn't matter.
That's incredible.
They're interchangeable. They could have done the Parent Trap with them.
Dude. You just changed all of what I thought I knew about that guy.
The history. Yeah, but anyways, so Lock and Key, that's what I've been up to during the week. What about you? You watch anything or do anything interesting?
Yeah, I watched Horse Girl, which is pretty good. It's kind of like Juno mixed with Hereditary mixed with Donnie Darko.
That sounds horrifying.
It's weird. It's really weird, but it's good. It's like one of those movies where you're kind of confused the whole time, but everybody else in the movie is confused, and it's just like, I don't know.
I feel like they shouldn't have named it Horse Girl. I feel like that's really off-putting, and it's going to keep a lot of people from watching it. You know?
I mean, she, it makes sense once you watch the movie.
Is she half horse, half girl? Because if not, it doesn't make any sense to me.
She's just like a weirdo that's obsessed with horses, a particular horse, one specific horse.
Yeah, so you call it the girl who likes horses.
She's the girl in the movie is weird, and you can't tell if she's schizophrenic or if she has some kind of mental problem. Obviously, she has some kind of problem. You know what I mean?
Or it's aliens.
Well, that too. It could be that. It probably is, but also she has some kind of problem, it's both, you know what I mean? But at the same time, she sold her horse to this dude, and she keeps coming back to the ranch of the guy she sold it to check up on her horse, and she keeps making trinkets and putting it in the horse's hair, and the guy's not into it. I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't be into it either. I'd be like, you gotta leave. You can't keep coming back here.
Pretty much, that's why she's the horse girl, because she's
okay. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, you could have came up with a better title, I'm just saying, Donnie Darko was a good title. It wasn't Rabbit Boy,
I guess so.
It just come up with something a little bit better, but anyways.
Yeah. I also watched that documentary, The Pharmacist.
I started watching that. Yeah, I watched the first episode last night.
Pretty good, dude.
It's really depressing.
It is hella depressing, but it's interesting.
I didn't want to, I want to know who was recording them, crying after their kid had died. He
was recording everything.
But why?
Because he wanted evidence. For some
evidence
reason,
of their sadness. I assumed they were pretty sad when their son was dead.
Well, I think he just left a tape recorder on all the time. It's just a matter. He just kind of had it on.
If I was the wife, I'd be like, "Yo, fuck you, dude. Turn that shit off, bro."
Keep watching. She eventually does. She's like,
you gotta chill out.
They all get sick of it eventually. You gotta just watch it. It's crazy, dude.
Eventually the mom's just like, well, he was on crack. No, I'm just kidding. No, but Yeah, I think the whole thing about the police being like, this shit happens all the time, is like, it's like he tries to make it like it's corrupt, but I feel like it's not, though. I feel like they're just stating facts.
Yeah, but you gotta wait until he gets up in there.
Are they actually corrupt? Do the police?
No, maybe not like so much. It's just interesting how everything plays out. Like
lots of gray area, I'm guessing.
Well, nah, I don't know. In some parts, but there's also like really black and white. Obviously this is bad going on at some parts. Like he goes from this matter and goes through this whole thing. You'll see, but like after that, I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't want to ruin anything, but you got to watch it. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
Gotcha.
But it does get a little more corrupt. Like there's a lot going on. It's not like initially you're like, okay, but then he basically figures out who the killer is and they won't arrest him. You know what I mean? So it's like,
well, I mean, even if you found out who the killer is,
he's got like concrete evidence. Like obviously he's recorded everything for the past 5 years. So he's got like.
Will they just not look at the evidence or what?
You gotta watch. It's crazy.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm getting there. I'm working on it. But before I turned it off last night to go to sleep, it was at the part where they're like. Then we finally somebody came up with a name, and it was like showing this dude, and he was just like, yeah, I saw it, and in the hood you don't talk, you don't snitch. But
no, bro, you're getting right to the meat and potatoes of it. It's starting to get good. Just wait.
About to dive right in, dude.
Bro. I'm telling you, by the end of season or episode 2, you'll be like, holy shit, dog.
Holy shit. We should make up like a story just so we can get on Netflix. Like, and do a documentary. Like, we should, like, just come up with some...
It's like the American Vandal. That was, like, one of the best things I've ever seen, dude. You watched American Vandal, right?
But that was, like, a show, Like, it was obviously...
they obviously... I mean, that's what their idea was. Like, let's just make some crazy, like, mockumentary and, like...
But that's a mockumentary. I want them to actually believe the story is true. And then, like...
People would be so mad at us, dude.
Dude, I'm so down for that, though. Like,
I watched one that tricked me once before. Have you ever seen the fake Paul McCartney documentary?
Yeah, so we watched that together.
Bro, it had me going. And then I went and looked it up. And like,
it was all fake.
Everything they said was totally bullshit. Like,
it was like talking about how Paul McCartney was alive. And
he
like,
had me convinced. I was like, fuck, dude. There's a fake-ass Paul McCartney walking around. And then Paul McCartney over there.
And you're like, why?
Rubber Paul, dude. I was like connecting the dots, and then it was all bullshit.
Like, you play this song upside down while drinking a Slurpee, you can hear the words.
I was like, "Fuck, he's probably right, dude."
Yeah, anyway,
let's go get some Slurpees.
We gotta try this shit tonight, bro. Anyways, we'll jump into the video game news now. I know that's why you guys are here. Just so you know. We're using articles from gaming news sites from around the web, and we do not claim any of the material as our own. We're simply giving commentary on said articles. Let's jump in with Eric Kane over at Forbes. The synopsis for the upcoming live-action Resident Evil Netflix original series has leaked online. It was apparently uploaded by mistake to the Netflix Media Center where it was spotted and promptly leaked to the public. This confirms rumors of a Netflix adaptation of the popular video game series. The synopsis reads, "The town of Clearfield, MD, has long stood in the shadow of 3 seemingly unrelated behemoths, the Umbrella Corporation, the decommissioned Greenwood Asylum, and Washington, D.C. Today, 26 years after the discovery of the T-virus, secrets held by the 3 will start to be revealed at the first signs of outbreak."
Wait, so this is 26 years after the original Resident Evil?
Correct. I guess that was their way of getting away from like all the
bullshit?
Well, no, just to get away from the characters from the game. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they're trying...
So this is based on the game. This isn't like connected with the other movies that have come out?
No, this is just strictly a Netflix series, like an adaptation. I don't even know if
is it going to be live action, you think, or do you think it'll be animated?
It says it's live action. Yeah, so I'm pretty interested in that. I feel like you might see like some of the characters show up, like either referenced or like, you know, maybe they're like older and, you know, they just show up and they're like, "I'll tell you about the T-virus." You know, like,
I hope it doesn't suck ass. I was not a fan of the Resident Evil movies at all.
No.
You know?
Yeah, those were horrible movies.
They just didn't capture the feeling of the Resident Evil games to me.
No.
You know? Like, it's not even about, like...
It's like, why not just tell the fucking story?
Yeah, it's got enough substance, you know? Like, the just Resident Evil 1, you know? That would have been a great fucking story.
It would have been amazing. But no, they had to come in and make it like the most ridiculous, like just bullshit movie they could possibly make. It was like B-rated times 10. Like,
yeah, and it was kind of like futuristic and shit for some reason. I don't know. It was like...
Yeah, it was just stupid.
It was weird and stupid. Like, I don't know.
Anyways, I'm excited. We got a Resident Evil show, live action show coming to Netflix that people were spreading rumors about, but now it's confirmed, basically. So
cool. That's exciting.
Anyways, what you got?
Despite confirming that the coronavirus will cause shipping problems in Japan, Nintendo has announced that sales of Switch consoles and accessories won't be impacted in North America and Europe. In a statement to Kotaku last week, a Nintendo of America spokesperson said, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. They basically are just saying, hey, don't worry. But a lot of stuff is being affected by the coronavirus outbreak. Like Oculus Quest production has pretty much halted right now, which is, you know, a bummer to a lot of people, especially after they've waited for so long to get their shit that they ordered around Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If only these people would stop being so selfish with their virus. I
know it's impacted Sony somewhat too, I believe. I could be wrong.
No, that makes sense. I would assume it's affecting a lot of these, companies that have, that basically sell electronics, like just because it all comes out of somewhere in Asia, like.
I even saw this like British cruise ship that got stuck in port.
Oh, I saw that.
You saw that?
Yeah, because they were like, yeah, we're not stopping here. Fuck that shit.
They were like locked in their rooms for like weeks or some shit, or like a couple of weeks.
Are you talking about the cruise ship that had a bunch of people infected with the coronavirus? Or
I don't know if they were infected. I know they quarantined everybody in their rooms on the cruise ship, so maybe somebody had the coronavirus on the ship. Yeah, I'm not sure.
That sounds like a cool Resident Evil game,
bro. It's kind of Resident Evil Revelations if you think about it. But
the C virus, bro. Anyways, so Kevin Merman Kevin Merman at Forbes says Xbox versus PlayStation, the console wars. Fanboys, industry analysts, and game journalists love them. The steady chatter about who's winning and losing rises to a roaring crescendo when Sony and PlayStation are set to release a new console generation. This year is no exception. The clamor has already begun. Except this year is an exception, and the noise you hear is the sound of one hand clapping. The video game industry has moved beyond who sells the most consoles. Microsoft moved with it. Sony didn't, and PlayStation is left warring with Nintendo? Nobody? Phil Spencer laid it out for Protocol when he said, when you talk about Nintendo and Sony, we have a ton of respect for them, but we see Amazon and Google as the main competitors going forward. That's not to disrespect Nintendo and Sony, but the traditional gaming companies are somewhat out of position. I guess they could try to recreate Azure, but we've invested tens of billions of dollars in cloud over the years. I don't want to be in a fight over format wars with those guys while Amazon and Google are focusing on how to get gaming to 7 billion people around the world. Ultimately, that's the goal for Xbox. So, first off, you actually mentioned this last week. You said that it seems like Xbox's competition will be more so Google, or not Google, but other streaming platforms like Amazon and stuff, which apparently Xbox seems to think so as well. That PlayStation, and we talked about this last year, about how PlayStation is actually trying to use Azure for their shit, for their the Xbox cloud-based gaming, because they don't have a place to do it.
Right. From what I understand, they're already in talks with Xbox about this kind of stuff.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're looking at a future where Sony and Xbox might, I mean, I'm not saying like team up, but
they'll have to. So will Nintendo.
Yeah.
They'll all have to team up in some way.
I think the consoles will all like band together as like almost a union and like, have their own little network of like streaming, like Microsoft stuff. I don't know.
It's true. I think that's what's going to happen, honestly. It's got to happen that way. Otherwise, Sony's out of the game. And so is Nintendo.
That's
And,
interesting.
because I feel like Sony and Nintendo don't have billions to spend, like Microsoft does. Microsoft is like the biggest company in the world, basically,
True.
so it's like they can do whatever the fuck they want. But like Sony's got to, I mean, they're a huge company too, but they still have to, be certain what they're going to do with their shit, and they haven't been investing at this point.
And we already know Amazon is getting their feet wet with gaming. I mean, they've already got one independent studio working on a game that they're going to release and kind of test the waters. And I think that this is just kind of like, I think they're going to get enough studios and games going to where that they can hold their own on like a streaming service, and then open their own little Disney Plus style thing. It'll be like Amazon Gaming or some shit.
Oh, yeah.
And it'll be
for sure
just like Stadia or something, I don't know.
Better. Much better. No, also, I guess I might as well throw this out just because it's more Xbox, but this is from Steve Watts at GameSpot. Xbox head Phil Spencer made waves in December with comments that seemed dismissive of VR, suggesting it was too niche, and that customers simply aren't asking for it. In a new interview, he struck a softer tone, clarifying that his team simply isn't focused on VR right now. Quote, I probably overstated, Spencer said on the podcast Gamertag Radio. He's on the wrong podcast. For the people who love VR and the experience that is being built, no disrespect to any of the teams there. My main point was I wanted to be clear with our customers on where our focus was. If somebody was waiting for us to bring out a headset for a Series X at launch, I was just trying to say we're not going to do that. He went on to explain that bringing VR to a console platform is not as simple as just plugging a headset in, since the specialized console UI means it has to be custom fitted for a VR interface. Right now, he said, our most precious resource is the team and their ability. I just have to focus on the things we're doing right now. Spencer also explained that VR is closely associated with Windows, and so the company is still keeping a close eye on the movement of the industry and progress towards VR adoption. Quote, we're never going to close our eyes to where things are going, he said. I don't hope it goes away. I hope it gets bigger. I hope it's something that's just so important that it'd be a no-brainer for us to support it. My main point wasn't to shade anyone who's working on VR or anything, but really just about the stuff we're focused on, and that's not part of the equation right now.
See, I don't know. Here's the thing. I understand that it's not as simple as plug and play, but the Xbox Series X will be more than capable of handling like top quality VR. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no question. For
sure.
And he's talking about, VR is so closely associated with Windows and blah blah blah. I don't know. I feel like you could put some sort of limited capacity Windows. I think the real problem here isn't that VR isn't doable. It's that you'd have to hook it up to. You'd have to give your consumers access to like the Steam store or something in order to have games to play.
Because they're not going to invest Windows because it's a Microsoft thing. He's saying like, yeah, we know a lot about VR. We're just not doing it. And
and the Windows mixed reality. I mean, they've invested in VR in some capacity, but
but not for Xbox. And I think the reason why is because they're waiting to see it grow.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to put money into something that when right now Xbox is kind of losing, they don't want to risk that. Like they're like, okay, cool. People like Sony for doing that, but not enough people like Sony for doing that.
I don't think it's a bad move on their part. I mean, it would push the industry forward tremendously.
Oh, hell yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's smart.
Yeah. Wait till Alex comes out.
I was about to say there will be a time when they will be forced into the VR industry, but it probably won't be in for another 4 or 5 years, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
I don't remember who. Some like head. It might have been Corey Barlog or somebody big at like one of those game dev companies said that he believes by the end of this generation, like VR will be like the main thing.
I believe that by the end of this year we'll see a huge step forward in like games being developed for VR first of all, and like AAA companies embracing VR and stuff. I think this is going to be a really big year for VR in my opinion. You can already see it with like the headsets being sold and stuff. I don't know. It's exciting, at least to me.
Truly exciting.
Let's see. As Anthem's 1-year anniversary inches closer, developer BioWare has provided a vague commitment to focusing on a longer-term redesign of the experience. while seemingly recycling current available content across all platforms, according to a blog post. General Manager Casey Hudson wrote briefly about what's to come to Anthem over the next few months, specifically noting there's still more fundamental work to be done to bring out the full potential of the experience. Hudson said that BioWare will provide a focused team the time necessary to essentially overhaul the game with a focus on gameplay first. Hudson didn't clarify what this alleged overhaul will entail, but he did say that BioWare is working to reinvent the core gameplay loop with clear goals, motivating challenges, and progression with meaningful rewards, while preserving the fun of flying and fighting in a vast science fantasy setting. For the deep work to happen, however, Hudson seemingly confirmed that Anthem will go through a spat of recycled content and potentially new events. In the meantime, we will continue to run the current version of Anthem, but move away from full seasons as the team works towards the future of Anthem, Hudson said. We'll keep the game going with the event store refreshes and revisiting past seasonal and Cataclysm content, starting with our anniversary towards the end of the month. All of this, Hudson said, should result in a version of Anthem that has a, quote, more satisfying loot experience, better long-term progression, and a more fulfilling end game.
I don't know. I feel like at this point you should just take the L and take all of the money that you're putting into this dead game and put it somewhere else.
I agree with you there, especially in the case of Anthem. But I do like that we live in a future where if a game is bad, like No Man's Sky or Fallout 76, they can really, just make it better,
I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like the idea that people can just put something out and then have a redemption story, because it's like it's allowing people to get away with it. It's like, even though the game turns out better than it started, it's like you're selling people on false pretenses. Like the game is not good enough to be put out, but you put it out anyways and collect money.
True, but I think a lot of these people, it's still a big bad mark on your resume if you nobody's ever going to forget how bad No Man's Sky was when it came out,
No.
Just because they made it better,
But everyone's going to remember it as the better version, I honestly don't think that's going to be a huge problem.
I just feel like, if I buy like a game digitally, like Fallout 76, and don't get me wrong, I actually kind of enjoyed Fallout 76, so I'm not hating on it, but it's just an example because so many people dislike it and it's getting, content added. But if I buy a game digitally and I don't really have a way to like refund it, it is nice to know that I'm getting content for it and they're trying. You know what I mean?
But we're on the verge of PS5 and Xbox
I get it.
Series
It should have been
X.
good right off the bat.
Yeah, but I'm saying even if they update all this shit, like they're going to be trapped on an old console. Like people already accepted that Anthem sucks. Just let it suck and move on.
Well, I don't think Anthem is going to be trapped on an old console at all. We've already been told that every Xbox One game will be compatible with Series X.
True.
You know what I mean? I think there won't be such a thing as like at least this past generation being trapped on.
But even so, are people going to be wanting to play Anthem, whenever there's new next-gen games coming out?
If they make it good enough, I'm sure there'll be people playing like Destiny 2 and stuff still. You know what I mean? There's still people
Destiny
playing
2
Destiny 1,
Yeah.
I know.
And it's had years and years to build that
Destiny
following.
2 is great, but if they somehow made Anthem great, you know what I mean? Hell, if they somehow make Fallout 76 great with that new update coming, speaking of which, I've got some news about that.
When will that come?
I got it right here. Hang on, let me find it. But I'm actually excited about that because I saw some screenshots and it looks sick. For the
some screenshots.
Yeah, they have a whole trailer, bro. Hold on.
Oh, nice.
Hold on.
I feel like the trailer's old though, right?
I'm not sure. It's new article here, so maybe.
Oh, okay.
Bethesda has revealed a new trailer for Wastelanders, the next major content expansion for Fallout 76. Wastelanders is scheduled to launch April 7th for all platforms, finally bringing fully voiced NPCs to the multiplayer-focused RPG. Additionally, Bethesda has revealed plans to release Fallout 76 on Steam. Wastelanders takes place in the blah, blah, blah. Basically, it's coming April 7th. But it looks great. I mean, you got quests and stuff. It's just
but are there enemy like humans, like human AI enemies, or is it still just all?
Yeah, it says
monsters?
in the thing that there's going to be like a factions thing, even like in New Vegas, where you can like pick a faction and like work towards making that faction happy, and then go to war with the other factions or whatever.
Nice. I like that.
I don't know. It looks exciting, and it said they're putting a whole new quest in it, like a storyline. So basically, if you start from the beginning, it'll be like a whole new thing and shit. I don't know.
Cool. That sounds interesting.
I'm excited. I really think it's going to change the whole game up, because I feel like the map was already really good, but it just was like empty and dead, and all it needs is just like something breathe life into it. You know what I mean?
A defib, dude.
I'm excited.
Steve Watts at GameSpot says, when Sony purchased Spider-Man developer Insomniac Games, it seemed like a natural fit for a studio that had long worked closely with PlayStation on exclusives. Recent financial disclosures show just how much Sony paid for the developer. Nico Partners analyst Daniel Ahmad noted on Twitter that according to recent SEC filings, Sony paid roughly $229 million, mostly in cash, when the deal closed in November. The sale was first announced in August. So Insomniac Games...
I can't tell if that's a good deal or not.
Yeah.
You know? Like, Insomniac seems like a pretty valuable property. That almost seems cheap.
That's what I was saying. $229 million. Isn't that, like, that's not that much, though.
Did you hear that they paid for most of it in cash?
Yeah, well, I just said that.
Oh, sorry.
Did you hear?
Did you hear? Sorry, no.
Yeah. Did you hear that Sony bought Insomniac Games for $229 million? It's like, dude, you just like repeat the whole article.
No, but I mean, like, it's just, know. It's one of those things that doesn't really stand out until you think about it.
Like, do you think a dude just walked in with
a briefcase full of yen? Because it's a Japanese shit. They're not just paying. It's not like it's like 2 million yen.
No, because they would have had to get it
to bajillion
to
yen.
American cash. Because Insomniac isn't a Japanese company. They don't want yen.
Hey, maybe they do if they got enough of it.
I don't.
They just gave him the keys to the Scrooge McDuck vault.
I feel like 229 million yen is just like 100 million.
No, yeah, it would be way more than that, because it's like the equivalent of 229 million American dollars. So would I think 1 yen
like
is worth like 100
yen or something.
Be that times like 100.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anyways, what you got?
Let's see. Something you don't need 1 billion yen for. The Division 2 is $5 at GameStop until the 15th. So I know it's got pretty good reviews. So if you need something spicy to play,
to take your time. Jordan Ramey at GameSpot says 2K has announced that its newest studio, which is helmed by former Sledgehammer head Michael Condrey, will be called 31st Union, and the team is already hard at work on a brand new IP. 31st Union is off to an incredible start with a passionate and talented team, an intentioned culture that champions inclusivity and greater representation, and an ambitious and inspired new IP that we're extremely excited about, Condrey said. We're creating a development environment focused on a single new IP where passion is at the center of it all. 31st Union head of strategy Tyler McCoud added, we believe diverse perspectives and experiences are crucial to creating a truly global entertainment experience with a deep connection to passionate fans. 31st Union is one of 2K's 4 studios with multiple locations around the globe, the others being Cloud Chamber, which is working on a new BioShock game, Hangar 13, responsible for the Mafia series, and Visual Concepts, responsible for the NBA 2K and WWE 2K games.
I don't know, man. They sound too woke.
They sound extremely woke. Not that it's not bad to be woke. It's not.
But they're like extra woke.
Yeah, it sounds like they're. It sounds like corporate woke, where they're like, "Hey, boys and girls, we truly care about each and every one of you," and it's like we're gonna create a game that changes lives, and then like it comes out and it's just like a shitty game.
It's gonna be woke, whatever it is.
Yeah,
you can count on it.
You can count on. Before we get off of the wokeness, we need to talk about Cliff Bleszinski.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Cliffy B, dude.
Did you see this?
Yeah.
So Paul Tamburo.
The audacity, dude. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, at Game Revolution says Cliff Bleszinski has outstretched an offer to Microsoft to return to the Gears of War franchise as a consultant. And the Gears creator also followed up on his comments yesterday that quote-unquote shoehorned diversity and his personal politics were a reason for Lawbreaker's failure, responding to a fan who said he shouldn't make Gears too woke, replying, they, or the Coalition, kinda already did if you didn't notice. Blazinski took to Twitter to say the offer still stands to consult on the Gears franchise, adding that ideas for the future of the series were sitting on the cutting room floor. In addition, Blazinski noted that there was an idea he had for Gears of War 4 that new developer the Coalition never did.
And he's pissed.
Yeah, Blazinski also responded to a reference to yesterday's controversy after a follower told him that he doesn't want to make Gears too woke. The former Epic Games director said that the Coalition kind of already did. They said that twice in this article. Since his departure from Epic, the Coalition made Kate Diaz the focus of Gears 5, the first time that a female character has been the central protagonist in a game in the series. The latest entry also had pride flags equipable in its multiplayer mode. It's unclear which decisions have made Blazinski consider its new direction as
too
well.
woke. No, I'm just kidding. Can't have them gay flags in our game. God damn it.
It's like, all right. I mean, my main problem with him is that he said the reason Lawbreakers failed was because of the wokeness that he put in.
Wait, what was woke? I never played Lawbreakers.
Okay, so apparently in Lawbreakers, there's like, you can see some restrooms, and they're like, restrooms for anybody. Like it shows like a guy, or like it shows the little like stick figure, but half of it is wearing a dress and then the other half's not. And they made that a big deal, like whenever he was like touring around about.
They have restrooms like that all over the place. I mean, like,
yes, but this was back whenever it was like
he's just grasping at straws, trying to find a reason
why his game failed. That's what I'm saying.
It must have been too woke. He's like in a basement, like crossing stuff off a list. Like, what could it be?
He's like, well, it can't be me. That leaves basically everything but me. and that's whenever he realized that it was everything but him. So woke culture, you caused Lawbreakers to fail, not the fact that it was a whatchamacallit, basically it was just, what's that game? Overwatch. It was basically just a ripoff of Overwatch. Like, you can't just keep doing the Overwatch thing.
And I get that he, like, basically, I mean, he made Gears of War and all that, but, like...
Yeah, but
I mean, like...
When he had Gears of War, it was literally, like, if you just put The Rock and Vin Diesel in a game, and it was just like, bro... Like...
And that was the shit back then,
Back then, but times have changed.
Exactly. I just feel like Gears of War is just kind of outdated as, like, an idea, They're just holding on to it because it's, like, the only thing they have that's popular right now,
Yeah, really. That's all they have is Halo and Gears of War because they don't have any internal studios.
But see, Halo doesn't feel outdated when you, like, look at it as a story. Actually, I feel like Halo is kind of coming back into style or something.
It will with Infinite, dude.
Mm-hmm. I think it's good timing
Collection.
for Halo, a new Halo game,
I'm excited for a new Halo, but they really need new games. Mm-hmm. And I just don't care for another Gears of War. Like, it's fun, but it's so dated. Like, even the new one, like, it was fun to play, but it wasn't like
a masterpiece.
No, it's nothing to write home about. It's like, hey, you want a fun game? Well, this is kind of fun.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad it had co-op, though. That was cool. Let's see. In an attempt to draw in new viewers, the new DC comic movie Birds of Prey has changed its name following a slow start at the box office. The movie is changing its theatrical name from Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn to Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, according to GameSpot's sister site comicbook.com. The name change is already visible through major American ticket sellers like Regal Cinemas and AMC theaters. The Warner Brothers has yet to officially comment on the change. Birds of Prey star Margot Robbie, who plays Harley Quinn, is also a producer on the movie. Recently foreshadowed this change in an appearance on the Hot Ones podcast. Asked what nerve-wracking part of the being a producer is, Robbie said it's watching the first week box office numbers come in. Because at that point, There's almost nothing you can do to improve the fortunes of a film. A marketing change might help things, but it might not be enough, she said. This very marketing change is now happening. So.
Yep. Like, I just I don't know anything about Birds of Prey or Bop. You know, like I
really feel like Birds of Prey or Harley Quinn or whatever, I feel like it's doing so bad, because we recently got a new Joker, and so everybody's mind is kind of on this new, fresh take on the Batman universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the first Suicide fucking Squad movie
it didn't
sucked.
do that good. Yeah, it wasn't that great.
It did well financially, but that's because people didn't know what they were getting into.
Exactly. Now they know, and they're like, okay, I don't want to go see another one in that universe. You know, even if Birds of Prey turned out to be good, which actually I've heard it's not terrible, you know, it's just...
I think the problem is that they relied too heavily on the numbers that sold for the first film, that they were like, oh, people must really like this because so many people watched it. But really, it was just luck. It was the fact that people went to go see it because they were like, what is this? You know, and then once they saw it, they were like, well, that was shitty.
I also feel like Harley Quinn as a character just isn't a good, like... You know, like she shouldn't be like the central character. She's a great supporting character, you know, but like, I don't know. She's not like Deadpool or something where she just carries the whole show. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, maybe like with Margot Robbie, it could be, but I think the problem is that nobody really cared. You know, like from the get-go, nobody really cared. The girls just liked it because they could dress up like Harley Quinn. It finally gave them like their version of Joker, where like all the dudes wanted to like dress up like Joker on fucking Facebook and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you remember that?
Oh, I do.
Whenever everybody's fucking Facebook profile picture was them in like the Joker fucking, you know, makeup and shit. That's what Harley Quinn is to females. It's like their version of that. It's just like, that was it. You know, it was over. You know, like I just don't understand. I don't get it. It's bothering me. How much like... DC just needs to chill out, bro. Like DC needs to just go back into their offices and be like, hey guys, let's sit down. Let's think about what we're doing now.
I feel like DC should go the low budget route more often. I think Joker did so well, they should look at that and just like analyze why it did so well and start maybe marketing their superhero shit at adults more or something, you know?
Yeah.
Or do something different, you know? Because Marvel's obviously got them outclassed when it comes to like goofy, fun movies like that, you know?
Theme park movies.
Yeah, exactly. Like
whenever they tried to do that with, you know, like you know, the what Justice League or whatever, you know, it was just obvious that they were trying to be like Marvel. It's like you just can't do that after having all these like dark brooding movies, and then you come together and it's like, ha, we got the Flash now.
It's so true. And I don't know, I feel like a big part of it is like, okay, Marvel puts out so much shit and it's all like really, really high quality, you know?
Yeah.
You have to like, I don't know. You have to put some really good shit out to compete, you know? And it's just like there's so much of it out there in the pipeline now that's like people are kind of... You can't just picky. Put out anything. Yeah,
they're choosy. And I mean, apparently, in like, I saw a lot of people saying like, oh, it's just because it's female leads. It's like, no, fucking Wonder Woman.
Captain Marvel did pretty good, right? Or...
Captain Marvel did fine. Wonder Woman did amazing. It like broke records.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think people just quit looking for excuses for Suicide Squad. You know, like it was just a shitty movie. That's why nobody went to go see this.
Ghostbusters, the reboot they did with the all-girl Ghostbusters. Everybody's like, oh, it was all girls. No, it was just a bad movie.
It was a really bad movie, according to everybody that saw it. I did not watch it. But I heard some people like try to defend it, and they were like, it wasn't bad. And that's all they said about it. You know, they're like, it was okay. You know, but anyways, let me see. Jeremy Winslow at GameSpot says Activision Blizzard confirmed that we will absolutely see a brand new Call of Duty game sometime this year. What? No, though which studio will develop it has yet to be announced. Interestingly, the company said that this year's Call of Duty won't sell as well as last year's Modern Warfare did during its launch window. No details on platforms were shared, leaving us to wonder if it will be available on PS5 and Xbox Series X. Obviously it will. But it is funny that they were like, yeah, it won't sell as well as last year's.
Well, I feel like there could be two reasons for that.
One, because last time was a reboot, you know, which automatically hypes it up, like, and it was Modern Warfare, you know, reboot, like their biggest game ever.
Totally.
You know,
I think that, okay, I have two theories here. I think theory A, okay, either it's not going to sell as well because it's going to be an exclusive to the new consoles and they just don't anticipate as many people having the new consoles yet.
Yeah.
Or it's not going to sell as well because it won't be like a traditional Call of Duty game. Maybe we're finally going to get the zombies spin-off game we've always wanted, or I've always wanted.
No.
Just like just exclusive premium quality zombies game.
Keep dreaming. That's not going to happen. I think what
it would be sick though,
It's probably coronavirus shit.
One day it'll happen, dude. One day we're going to get a game that's just Call of Duty Zombies. Like that's what it'll be called, and it'll be like dope.
CODs with the Ziggy. Yeah, dude, that. I mean, I wouldn't be against it. I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's real.
It'd be like Left 4 Dead almost, but Call of Duty.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Only better. Only better.
Much better. Okay, anyways, what you got?
Animal Crossing New Horizon may be getting some kind of paid add-on content. According to the ESRB rating on New Horizon's eShop page, as spotted by VGC. The title contains in-game purchases, although it's unclear whether this could take the form of microtransactions, similar to those found in the series' mobile spin-off Pocket Camp. Or some larger DLC. Yeah, probably something bigger than that. When Nintendo has not yet made any announcements Nintendo has not made any announcements regarding DLC plans for New Horizons. It's worth noting that ESRB ratings for other Switch games, such as Luigi's Mansion 3 and Fire Emblem Three Houses, both similarly mentioned in-game purchases, and both titles received paid expansions. The former is getting 2 additional multiplayer content, 2 packs of additional multiplayer content later this year. The latter, meanwhile, is receiving the 4th part of its expansion pass, the Cindered Shadows DLC, later this week. So
yeah, I think it's just going to be DLC. I think they're trying to keep their microtransactions only to their mobile shit, and then with this, they're trying to do paid DLC stuff.
Quite frankly, I like Nintendo's DLC model more than most other DLC models. I feel like you get a lot of bang for your buck with Nintendo's stuff. You know what I mean? With the exception of the Smash Bros. Fighters, I feel like they're a little pricey. But,
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Richard Wakeling at GameSpot says Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is an early success for publisher Bandai Namco. Their action RPG retelling of the classic DBZ story has already sold over 1.5 million copies since its release on January 17th for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Bandai Namco revealed the news in an investor-focused post on its Japanese website, saying that the goal for the Kakarot is to reach 2 million copies sold this year. That would put it within touching distance of the sales figures for previous Dragon Ball games like Dragon Ball Xenoverse and Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Or Fighters. Kakarot didn't do quite enough to dethrone the latter's record as the fastest-selling game in series history, though, with Fighter Z selling 2 million copies during its first week on sale back in 2018. But yeah, that's a good thing that it sold so well. Maybe that means that we'll get more games like it, and maybe we'll get another saga from Dragon Ball Z in video game form.
I hope so. That'd be cool.
Interesting.
Let's see. If you're a fan of the new Call of Duty game and past Call of Duty games, they're adding the favorite map Rust to the new Call of Duty game, which is, known for being a tiny map where shit gets hot and heavy. So
real quick.
So keep an eye out for that.
Sweet. Jeremy, oh wait, no, we already went over that. Hold on one second. Richard Wakeling at GameSpot says Spec Ops The Line developer Jaeger has received investment from Chinese multinational Tencent.
Oh no.
The gaming monolith has invested an undisclosed sum in the Berlin-based developer, but Jaeger will still retain its independence. The money will be used to fund Jaeger's publishing ambitions and the continued development of its free-to-play shooter, The Cycle, currently in its 2nd season. Never heard of it. The game, which Jaeger describes as a competitive quest shooter, is exclusively available on the Epic Games Store and adds a unique spin to the Battle Royale genre. Jaeger is, of course, most widely recognized for developing Spec Ops The Line, which released to critical acclaim back in 2012.
A good game.
The subversive military shooter is one of the more memorable games of the past 10 years, but was also a commercial flop, with publisher Take-Two saying it failed to meet sales expectations. Since then, Jaeger has moved away from narrative-driven single-player games and shifted to developing live service games such as The Cycle and 2017 Space Combat Sim Dreadnought. Tencent, meanwhile, invests in or owns an ever-growing portfolio of game developers and publishers, including Activision Blizzard, Epic Games, Riot Games, Platinum Games, and Ubisoft. Tencent is not only the world's leading games company, but also a prolific investor with a stellar track record. We're humbled to join the lineup of Tencent partners, which reads like a games industry who's who, said Timo Ullman, CEO of Jaeger. We're confident that this will greatly enhance the scope of our business, not just by getting access to Tencent's network and resources, but by tapping the vast industry know-how Tencent possesses.
Hail China!
He finishes it off with whatever the...
We are pleased to join our Chinese overlords.
At no point were we coerced into this. We absolutely love the red flag. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
Pretty soon,
yeah,
all these games developed by Tencent are going to cut off at a certain time to, like...
I feel like our Patreon ad is like already like predicting this future, but just replace the AI with the Chinese gaming industry, you know, Tencent taking over the planet. Like, they're literally buying everything.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone's just letting it happen. And they're all just like, it's not that big of a deal. It's all good. They're letting us do what we want. Yeah, right now they are. But when they own everything and you have nowhere else to go, then what the fuck do you do?
See, we need an American investing giant like Tencent to just, like, take over. So we at least know we're keeping it American.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see how it goes when all of our games suddenly are putting Easter eggs with Winnie the Pooh in it to try and reach out and let people know about the uprising.
There's going to be no more Winnie the Pooh is getting wiped off the face of
the
earth.
Like people are going to be like, what's Winnie the Pooh? I've never heard of this.
Long ago, before China took over.
In the 100-acre wood.
Okay, cool. Kingdom Hearts 3 released over a year ago. And the highly anticipated RE Mind DLC came out just last month.
Highly anticipated?
Highly.
Is that a true statement?
Somebody out there was highly anticipating that.
I saw like some reviews for the Remind or whatever thing, and it was like Remind, and the title was like something like more like I want to forget or something. It was like, please don't remind me or something. It got like a 4 out of 10. And like,
I saw one thing at the end of the game. Spoiler alert. Apparently, there's like this cutscene that was used for a trailer for Final Fantasy 15, and like the end cutscene is like that same like game. Like it's the same thing. It's like the same trailer with just like the character from.
So they just
Kingdom Hearts,
reuse the assets for
I'll show you in a little bit. It's fucking stupid.
That's sad.
But apparently, you can get all of the Kingdom Hearts games now, including Kingdom Hearts 3, in one package for $50. It's coming March 17th. So that's pretty cool. That's like 7 whole Kingdom Hearts games and like 3 movies or some shit.
7 Kingdom Hearts games.
Yeah,
can you imagine playing 7 of those games back to back? Like, you would want to blow your brains out.
Definitely
by the end
not
of
back to back. That would just be unacceptable.
Be like, oh yuck, and then you just like, you just hear that one too many times.
God, dude.
Just splatter my brains on the wall.
Why would you do
dude.
that to yourself? Like, why would you let it get that far?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Okay. What you got?
So Kevin Knezovic over at GameSpot. Never mind, we've already done that. We should really have a shared doc for the news, I feel like.
Probably.
Anyways, Eddie McCooch at GameSpot, our boy Eddie, he didn't have much news this week, surprisingly.
He's usually on the ball.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk to him about his work.
McCooch is dry.
Watch his name be like McCook or something. But anyways, Fallout New Vegas developer Obsidian's new RPG, The Outer Worlds, has sold more than 2 million copies. Parent publisher Take-Two announced during an earnings call this week. The Outer Worlds also launched as a free game for Xbox Game Pass subscribers, but the 2 million sales figure is presumably referring to full game sales across Xbox One, PS4, and PC. A Nintendo Switch version is also on the way. On the subject of subscription services like Xbox Game Pass, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick said it's an ongoing conversation at the company regarding how much the company will support programs like Xbox Game Pass and others. He said that as a general rule, Take-Two simply wants to release games where the consumer is, and that could include subscription libraries. At the same time, Zelnick said subscription services might be better suited for older titles as a way to give them a second lease on life. Quote, we think subscription offerings are probably better suited to catalog, but we're willing to take experimental chances when it makes sense. It's early days for all these platforms, he said. So, yeah, I mean, I want to know, like, if that means that they don't think it did too hot for, Game Pass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it sounds like they're a little cautious, a little weary of doing stuff on Game Pass in the future, which is a shame to me, but it makes sense.
Yeah, they probably were.
They probably would have sold a lot more. I mean, like, just sold a lot more.
Yeah.
Because it had hype. I know that I probably would have bought it, but I might have bought it on a different platform or something if it was, I don't know.
I mean, honestly, $60 for that game isn't really called for, honestly. I feel like that's a $40 game. It's a great game, but like with the scope of it...
I would have been happy with it for $60. I think I would have enjoyed it for $60. I wouldn't have felt ripped off. There's definitely games I've bought that I'm like, damn. That was trash.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, like Monster, Supercross video game 3. Shouldn't have spent that $60.
I'll tell you what, I might buy it again when it comes out on Switch.
Oh, I'll definitely probably do that.
Because that, in my opinion, would be one of the most fun games to just have in your pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
The PlayStation Store has kicked off its Critics' Choice Sale, which spotlights and discounts a large number of great games until February 18th. So you got a few days to do this if you haven't already. A number of GameSpot's best games of 2019 are discounted on the PS4's Critics' Choice Sale. The Game of the Year Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is discounted to $39. Several other runners-up are also discounted, with Control and Death Stranding going for $36 each, A Plague Tale Innocence set at $25, and Resident Evil 2 down to just $19.79. These games are absolute steals at those prices, especially Resident Evil 2. That's a bet. $20? Shoo.
Hell yeah. Eddie McCooch, he's back
at
GameSpot. Back. Gears of War designer Cliff Bleszinski, again, nearly made a new Aliens first-person shooter featuring a new version of Ripley and set in a Black Mesa-style facility. Or Mesa, sorry. You would play as a grown-up version of Rebecca Newt Jordan, who was among the only survivors of a xenomorph infestation during the Aliens timeline. The developer revealed this on Twitter, saying his studio Boss Key was in talks with Aliens rights owner Fox to make a new Aliens game, but it fell apart after Disney acquired Fox. Ripley would be alive and be your Cortana/Anya, Bleszinski said, referencing the two support characters from Halo and Gears of War, respectively. You'd play as grown Newt. On Earth, Wayland Yutani are weaponizing the aliens in a Black Mesa-style facility, and of course, all hell breaks loose, Bleszinski added. The game was also going to feature a new robot friend named Casey, after Newt's doll in Aliens. Bleszinski added that he was never personally interested on working on someone else's IP unless that IP was Aliens or Transformers. The code name for Lawbreakers was Blue Streak, which is a reference to the Transformers franchise. In response to Bleszinski's tweet about making a new Aliens FPS, Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford replied, "Careful," with a winky face emoji. This could be in reference to any number of things. Gearbox developed the maligned alien game Aliens Colonial Marines, but whether or not the studio makes any more Aliens games is unknown.
Man, the description of that one game sounded tight, dude.
The Aliens game with the Black Mesa
with the
style?
Black Mesa style. I like the idea of an Aliens game that's not set on a fucking spaceship.
For sure.
Like, I'm sick of that, Like, I get it, that's Alien, whatever.
Yeah,
but, like,
bring him to Earth, bro.
Yeah, bring him to Earth. That sounds
bring
dope.
him to Earth.
I think that's part of what made made that Aliens versus Predator movie so good.
Interesting.
You see the aliens in a different environment. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't go around saying AVP was good. People might actually track you down and stab you. And that you can personally think that. I personally think it's great.
I was about to say, I don't give a shit, dude.
Yeah,
AVP. I liked AVP too.
AVP was great, dude.
Bro.
When the Predator turns into a good guy, spoiler alert, and he just like helps out, they got to fight the Xenomorph together at the end. You don't remember that?
Well, see, you got to think about the alien. I mean, not the alien, but the Predator like a hunter or something.
Yeah. Well, at first he was hunting the people because, they were like.
Exactly. But it's like, okay, imagine if you're a hunter and you're like hunting deer, but all of a sudden you see a bunch of wolves killing your deer. You're going to go after the wolves, you're not going to go after. So I feel like that's kind of the same.
But why
concept.
would you go? Why wouldn't you just stand back and wait till it ate the other thing? But anyways, I feel like predators kind of complement humans because they are like warriors that want to fight the strongest people in the universe. Like, so they chose us. That kind of makes me worried about the rest of the universe. But, and they must all be like weird.
I feel like we're just probably smart enough to pose a challenge,
Yeah.
Like with
besides the xenomorphs, though, the xenomorphs are their other. Like, if you watch AVP, it turns out that the predators have always hunted the xenomorphs. It's like a challenge to them.
I thought it was a fun little.
This fun lore building
tied
bullshit
them together,
But anyways, I think it's funny that Randy Pitchford was like, careful. And I went and looked at that tweet and saw the comments on it, like to Randy Pitchford. People were like, yeah, careful. You don't want to leave the USB with child porn on it somewhere. Because of the shit that he got, supposedly,
for sure.
Everybody was just fucking
ripping on him.
I
love it.
They're like, oh man,
That's
it was funny. Yeah. Anyways, what you got?
Okay, I can do two if you want because this one's kind of small, but
yeah, might as well.
The Master Chief Collection has added a freeze tag game mode, which seems kind of fun.
That's cool.
You go around tagging people and making them freeze, and you can huddle up with them to unfreeze them and shit. I don't know. It looks fun. You're trying to
interesting.
It's like a team based thing, and you're trying to get the other team all the way frozen. I don't know. It looks fun.
That's smart. They're thinking of new things.
Yeah,
I like that. That's
clever.
It's good for Infinite.
I'm telling you. Let's see. We talked about the Outer Worlds on Switch getting delayed, right?
No.
Okay. Private Division has announced that the Outer Worlds on Switch has been delayed, now targeting the fiscal 2021. Due to the coronavirus outbreak impacting the Singapore-based studio Virtuos. Original story follows. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry.
When did it get delayed?
That's it. It's 2021. They don't really know.
No date?
At some point in 2021.
So we have to wait a whole fucking year?
Apparently.
That game's not coming. It's just not going to come out. Just don't even expect it.
I think it'll come out, but nobody's going to give a shit anymore. We're going to have newer, better, cyberpunkier
Maybe not
games.
On Switch. Yeah.
Definitely not on Switch.
No. Anyways, but see what I was talking about last week? They can barely get fucking the Outer Worlds to work on Switch right now. Outer Worlds is, I feel like, such a subpar technical game.
Know, the screenshots look good. From what they showed off in that other article.
Yeah, the screenshots. It's not showing the game working or anything. It's just showing an image of a game. You could just take a picture of a game right before it glitches the fuck out and be like, look how beautiful it looks,
True, but I mean, you could, I don't know.
If it's a year away, there's no way that game is running. A whole fucking year, dude.
That's weird.
It just makes me upset. It makes me upset because I'm very worried about my Switch. I want Switch to hang out with the big boys. I want it to stick around. We'll see what happens.
Switch will stick around, bro.
Anyways, oh wait, you said you were gonna read two?
Oh, that was two.
Okay. Richard Wakeling at GameSpot says Austrian publisher THQ Nordic has opened a new studio in Bratislava, Slovakia, called Nine Rock Games. The aim of the studio is to develop shooter/survival games. Nine Rock Games is headed by CEO David Durkak. I'm gonna say it's David Durkak, who has experience in the shooter/survival genre, having previously worked on DayZ. Quote, we are very much looking forward to setting up shop in our office, gradually optimizing our team size and getting to work on our project. he said in a press release, with THQ Nordic as a partner, our roster of talent found perfect conditions to collaborate on our first joint project.
Cool.
Yeah, so there you go. That's all the news. I actually, did you get the thing about old boy over at Rockstar leaving? Because we didn't talk about it last week on our show.
We talked about it.
No, we
didn't talk about
not
it?
on our show.
Oh, you're right.
I'll look it up while you're doing the next.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. This one I won't go into too much detail, but Sakurai, the Smash Bros guy, he did this blog post the other day where he's talking about how he realizes there's too many Fire Emblem characters in Smash Bros, but there's really not much he can do about it.
Yeah, he said basically Nintendo chooses them all.
Mm-hmm. And he said that they're already chosen for next round, so
yeah,
don't even try, bitches.
Yeah, basically.
You want me to keep going while you're looking, or you got it?
No, I got it. It says Rockstar Games co-founder Dan Houser is leaving the studio after 22 years of games development. A new Take-Two SEC filing confirms after an extended break beginning in the spring of 2019, Dan Houser, Vice President Creative at Rockstar Games, will be leaving the company. Dan Houser's last day will be March 11th, 2020. This is big news because he was Rockstar. He basically was the lead writer and creative director of Grand Theft Auto 5, of Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, he's what makes these games have the creative focus that they have and the soul in them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now they're all going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Now that he's not there, it's just going to be trash. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but it makes you wonder why he's leaving. Is it just because he's like, he feels like he's done enough?
Maybe
he wants to leave
just
on a
made
high
a
note.
bajillion dollars and he's like, fuck it. I don't really need to work anymore. I mean, think about it.
Yeah, but
he's definitely a multimillionaire now.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
But with how creative he was, I feel like he's like a person that needs to be creating. I feel like...
I'm sure we haven't heard the last from this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But if you don't remember, I think it was like a couple years back, they were saying like they don't even know what a GTA 6 would look like in today's political climate. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he just felt like he couldn't make what he wanted to make.
Maybe, but at the same time, the GTA 5 is doing so damn good. I mean, one of my articles is literally, the next one I'm about to read is GTA 5 is the top seller for January in the PlayStation Store again.
Of course.
You know what I mean? It's just over and over and over again. I just can't imagine that GTA 6 would do bad. You know what I mean?
And maybe he was or maybe they wanted more online focus and he was just not about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think actually with today's political climate, I think the jokes would hit a lot harder in 6 and it would be way funnier and sell better because of it, honestly.
Yeah, possibly.
The controversy would help it sell, I feel like.
Maybe so.
I don't know. I feel like that's always been a kind of a driving factor in the sales of Grand Theft Auto,
Definitely. But yeah, that is a big deal in gaming. So an era has ended.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes for Rockstar now.
Yeah, let's see what the future looks like.
Let's see. We got a new Crash Bandicoot mobile runner on the way from the Candy Crush people. Let's see. We also have... Oh, okay. This article, I won't go into detail or anything, but apparently Activision did this thing recently, and they said that they're going to do more stuff like the Spyro Reignited trilogy and the Crash Team Racing and stuff. So I think we can expect more remakes. I know they have lots of IPs to reboot.
Strictly for Sony?
No, we're talking Activision here.
Oh, okay. So they want to work on other...
Wouldn't it be cool if they did Tony Hawk?
That's not going to happen.
I mean, it could, though, right?
No, because that's... Well, I guess because they are Activision. Yeah. No, you're right. They own the Tony Hawk shit. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so. Wouldn't that be tight if they
that
just
would be
redid
really tight.
The first couple games?
Yeah, the only reason I said no is because I was like, oh, that's owned by somebody else. But no, you're right. They own that. Why haven't they done that yet?
I don't know. But I mean, if all these remakes are so successful, that would be sick. I mean, maybe put out a remake of Tony Hawk to see if people are still into Tony Hawk, and then put out a whole new Tony Hawk game.
Or put out the first 3 or 4 Tony Hawk games on one disc, like just all up-resed and
Dude, Tony Hawk 1 through 4 in one package would be so fucking sick, dude.
Oh yeah, dude, it'd be super sweet. Just add like achievements and stuff like that.
And it would kind of fall in line with how they do, Spyro 1 through 3, Crash 1 through 3. I think it would make more sense for them
as
to
a
do
trilogy.
1 through 3.
The Tony Hawk Pro Skater trilogy.
Yeah.
THPS trilogy. THPS. I haven't said that in so long.
X3, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. I'd be so down.
Bro, I would be all about that. Let's see. Oh, we talked about the Fallout 76, and that's it. That's all I got.
All right, so that's the end of this week's news. We're going to jump into this week's releases, where I'm going to let you know what brand new games are coming out in the next 7 days, starting with Nom Nom Apocalypse, coming to PC on February 13th. Couldn't find a price. As mutant monsters from the grocery shelves descend upon the city, humanity bakes a last-ditch bid to save the world. Suit up as one of many Traeger-happy chefs with character-specific powers and prepare for a showdown with ferocious food in Nom Nom Apocalypse, a love letter to classic monster movies. And then we got Glass Masquerade 2 Illusions coming to Switch on February 13th and to Xbox One on February 14th for $11.99. Glass Masquerade 2 Illusions is a dreamlike collection of artistic jigsaw puzzles to piece together at your own relaxed pace. Dive into the rabbit hole of the abstract and the fantastical, putting together stained glass fragments to solve dreams and riddles. Enjoy baroque depictions of 20th century imagination and puzzles more intricate and complex than the original. And then we got Street Fighter V Champion Edition coming to PC and PS4 on February 14th for $29.99. Quarter up for the 5th game of this dominating fighter franchise. Stunning visuals depict the next generation of world warriors in unprecedented detail, while exciting and accessible battle mechanics deliver endless fighting fun that both beginners and veterans can enjoy. Rule the ring with Street Fighter V Champion Edition, the most robust version of the acclaimed fighting game. And then we got Florence coming to Switch, PC, and Mac on February 13th for $5.99. At 25, Florence Yeo feels a little stuck. Her life is an endless routine of work, sleep, and spending too much time on social media. Then one day, she meets a cello player named Krish. Krish, who changes everything about how she sees the world. Florence is a story of the heart-racing highs and heartbreaking lows of a young woman's very first love. At 25?
This sheltered, okay?
Yeah, this heartfelt experience that lasts around 30 minutes for a short but deeply meaningful interactive experience. Be there for every beat of Florence and Krish's relationship through a series of bespoke gameplay vignettes. From flirting to fighting, from helping each other grow to growing apart. Drawing inspiration from slice-of-life graphic novels and webcomics, Florence is intimate, raw, and personal.
If you don't have your own relationship problems to worry about, here's some virtual ones.
Yeah, it's like, oh, sweet. And then we got Daemon X Machina coming to PC on February 13th for $59.99. This is that bullshit mech game that came to Switch as like an exclusive. Now it's coming to PC.
Cool.
Anyways, Under Hero is coming to Xbox One on the 13th of February and Switch on the 14th of February for $16.99.
Okay.
Under Hero is an RPG platformer where the chosen hero has failed and an underling of the evil king reluctantly takes his place as the new hero. Use timing-based combat to defeat enemies as you venture across the land, face off against quirky bosses, and save the Chestnut Kingdom from your own evil boss, Mr. Stitches. And then we got Darksiders Genesis coming to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on February 14th for $39.99. In Darksiders Genesis, the fourth horseman of the apocalypse, Strife, is called upon to save humankind from certain destruction at the hands of Lucifer. True to its roots, Darksiders Genesis will feature intense combat, exploration, puzzle solving, epic boss battles, and serpent holes from heaven to hell. But the game also carves its own path as a full-scale Darksiders adventure played from the top-down perspective. That's probably not what anybody wants to hear.
I was about to say, I don't think any of the fans of the Darksiders series are excited
want a top-down?
Yeah. But I have heard it's good if you like the Darksiders games. Like, it does retain the charm of the series.
the Lucky Charm. And then we got Best Friend Forever coming to Switch on February 14th. Couldn't find a price for this game. Step off the bus at Rainbow Bay and start a new life with your forever friend. Adopt a dog, find true love, and experience all the wacky hijinks this colorful city has to offer.
All the highs and lows of the relation.
Oh, God. Best Friend Forever is a simulation game that combines pet care and dating, just not necessarily at the same time.
Wait, so there's dating in it too?
Yeah, you gotta fall in love. Daddy.
Dude, yes.
Train, pat, and play with your very own dog to form a bond that will last the ages. With your four-legged companion by your side, meet, woo, and cherish the mini cuties of Rainbow Bay's thriving single scene. Love the dog.
Use your dog to get laid.
Basically, put it in your Tinder profile. Dreams is coming to PS4 on February 14th for $39.99.
Oh, shit, boy. This is exciting right here.
Is it, though?
It is.
It doesn't have VR support
not right off the bat, but I'm still excited to play it. I mean, imagine some of these creative motherfuckers out there in the world once they get their hands on this. You know what I mean?
Which they've already had their hands on it. It's been in beta for a while.
Yeah, exactly. So there's already probably some cool stuff on there. But I mean, once it's in the hands of the masses, once people see like the potential of it, I really think it's going to take off and be really cool.
Hopefully so. I saw also with the release of the actual like the full game, they're putting like a single player campaign type thing in it.
Right. It's going to be a short little thing, like 3 or 4 hours or something, but still pretty cool.
From Media Molecule, the award-winning makers of Little Big Planet, comes the next level of interactive creativity, Dreams. This ever-expanding game universe allows you to explore, experience, and play in the limitless imagination of players around the world. Dreams also gives you the opportunity to unleash your creativity, building, sharing, and bringing your own ideas or dreams to life in the online Dreamiverse platform, all with the easy-to-use, innovative tools Dreams was created with. From games to gadgets, music to movies, puzzles to paintings, and literally anything in between, this is a beautiful playground of creativity where everything is possible. Dream anything, play everything. I think the coolest thing that I saw is that you can do like voice acting or like voiceovers and stuff like that for your game.
I've seen like what really interests me about it is like all the different things I've seen built in it are like really different. You know, like I've seen some games where it's like spaceships flying through space and shooting stuff, and some games where it's like a little monster walking around on a like little planet he's on. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like totally different.
Stuff.
You know, I don't know. I can't wait to just see what people can do with it, you know.
I just want to see a bunch of demakes of like big games. Like I want to see like a demake of Halo.
Oh, you already know that people are going to have their own little like Call of Duty maps and stuff remade in there.
That'll be fun. And then we got Snack World, the Dungeon Crawl Gold, coming to Switch on February 14th for $49.99. The Snack World follows the magical adventure of Chup and his comrades. Gameplay takes place in a typical RPG fantasy setting, with weapon shops and inns appearing here and there, yet such modern conveniences as corner stores, vending machines, and cafes also exist. Okay. And then we got Bayonetta and Vanquish coming, 10th anniversary bundle coming to Xbox One and PS4 on February 18th for $39.99. Commemorate the 10th anniversary of Platinum Games' two most celebrated titles with the Bayonetta and Vanquish remastered dual pack. Experience the genesis of the Bayonetta series with the original action adventure. Take advantage of Bayonetta's arsenal of skills to hack, slash, and open fire upon hordes of celestial foes. Play as space soldier Sam Gideon in the hit sci-fi shooter Vanquish, equipped with Blade, the experimental weapon system that can scan and copy existing weapons. He must infiltrate a conquered space colony Providence and defeat legions of future tech enemies. And then we got Hunt Showdown coming to PS4 on February 18th for $39.99.
I've heard this is cool.
Yeah, I've seen it played quite a bit, but only on like PC. Hunt Showdown is a competitive first-person bounty hunting game with heavy PvE elements from the makers of Crysis. Set in the darkest corners of the world, it packs the thrill of survival games into a match-based format. Hunt's competitive match-based gameplay mixes PvP and PvE elements to create a uniquely tense experience. At the beginning of each match, up to 5 teams of 2 set out to track monstrous targets. Once they've found and defeated one of these, they will receive a bounty and instantly become a target for every other hunter left on the map. The higher the risk, the higher the reward, but a single mistake could cost everything.
That sounds really fun.
It does.
We should do that.
Yeah, we really need to try that, but it's $40. Yeah,
might be worth it though.
The
graphics look nice. I've seen some like like videos. I saw one video, and it was like them showing the different distances of the gunshots and like the sounds the guns make from different distances. It was really neat.
I mean, it's the Crisis guys. What do you expect?
Yeah, for sure.
And then we got this one sounds super thrilling. DCL, or Drone Champions League, is coming to Xbox One and PS4 and PC on February 18th for $39.99. DCL, the game, will be the official video game of Drone Champions League, the world's leading championship for professional drone racing teams. Fly the original tracks from DCL and experience drone racing like a professional pilot. The Drone Champions League game is modeled closely on real-life drone flight behavior, so close that the top-performing pilots in the game can compete in the DCL draft selection, where pilots will be drafted to real-life racing teams competing in the DCL. Select from 4 different
cool.
Yeah, that's actually kind of cool. Select from 4 different models. Arcade mode is perfect for beginners, thanks to the automated altitude control and simplified controls. GPS mode flies like your standard camera drone with the stabilization and altitude control. Angle mode, also known as stabilized mode on some models, is available on most amateur racing drones. Acro mode gives the pilot more control. This is how real drone racing and freestyle pilots control their drones. Now this is pod racing. That reminds me.
That makes me want to try it.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe I don't realize it, but I'm a pro, dude.
Yeah,
maybe
dude,
I'm
you
like,
just have a natural drone flying talent.
dude, you never know.
It's in your genes, dude.
What if it is
Your
in
dad
my
passed
genes?
it on to you back when he was flying drones in
That's what I'm
1982.
saying, dude.
Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue is coming to Xbox One on February 18th for $29.99, serving as an introduction to Kingdom Hearts 3, as well as bringing a blockbuster entry in the franchise to PlayStation gamers or Xbox gamers for the first time. Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 includes a remastered version of Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, as well as 2 new Kingdom Hearts story chapters. Originally released in 2012, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance HD is a full HD remaster version of Kingdom Hearts 3D. Series protagonists Sora and Riku take on the mark of mastery exam in preparation for coming threats. The signature action of the Kingdom Hearts series has evolved, allowing players to experience faster-paced battles and exploration at a blistering pace. Kingdom Hearts 8.2 or 2.8 or 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage, is a completely new playable episode that links to the story of Kingdom Hearts 3, taking place after the storyline of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, played from the perspective of Aqua. Kingdom Hearts Kingdom Hearts X Kai Back Cover is a new HD movie that tells the mysterious story of the Foretellers, connecting the earliest parts of the series' history, which can also be seen in the mobile title Kingdom Hearts Unchained Kai.
What about Kingdom Hearts 2.4 Dream Drop Dripland?
Kingdom Hearts 15.7 is coming out.
Yeah, we got Kingdom Hearts 32.5 over here.
Yeah, like what the fuck is going on in that game? Like, it doesn't matter how many, like, of these, like, collections you put out. I don't think anybody knows what's happening in these games.
Kingdom Hearts 3.14 Radiant Radius.
They, like, forgot to mention something. They're like, shit, we got to make a whole nother part. And they're like, oh, we got to make 2.6 and a half. And that way we can let everybody know what happened midway through Kingdom Hearts 1. Like, it's just like, guys, we don't care. Nobody cares. Oh, you like? No, just kidding. No, anyways, what you got over there? We're gonna talk about currently playing now.
I guess we could talk about currently playing now.
All right, so that's it for this week's releases. We're gonna talk about what we've been currently playing this week. You can let us know in the Facebook group at facebook.com/group/GameSpeak Podcast. Let us know. Brent, you want me to start it off?
Yeah, kick it off. What are you playing over there, Jamel? What are you playing?
I've actually been playing quite a bit this week.
Oh yeah.
So I hopped on Final Fantasy 15 because it came to Game Pass, like the full, like all the downloadable
all
content.
70 gigabytes of the main game, and then like fucking billion gigabytes of the. Did when you clicked on it, did it start downloading like 20 things?
Yes, it did. It did, and it downloaded all 20 of those things.
Oh my god.
I had to delete like I don't remember what I deleted. I think I deleted Destiny 2 to be able to play it. But
that's a good one to delete if you need to make some space.
Oh yeah. So I deleted that, and then I started playing Final Fantasy 15. I got to the point to where I did like a couple side missions, and I met like the chick who fixes the car, and then I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get too much into this right now. So
something about 15 just didn't grab me. Like, I don't know, it's beautiful looking, and like the areas are nice, and like there's a lot going for it, but it's like it's kind of like Metal Gear Solid 5. It just didn't grab me for some reason.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's just too like I don't like the combat. The combat's kind of whack. Like
it's weird.
It's not that it's weird. Like I got it down super easy, but it was just like is not interesting enough. You know, like I like the animations and everything. Like the characters are interesting. Like I like it's almost like you're in an anime, but like as soon as you get into fights, it kind of loses the appeal to me. Like I wish it would have stuck with a more traditional like JRPG. I would have preferred system.
Like a turn-based thing for sure.
Me too, or something like KOTOR. If they would have made it more KOTOR, where you get to pick your attacks,
cool, yeah,
you know, which you can kind of do if you put it on the wait mode, but like it's still not as good. It's still not that great. Anyways, so then I jumped on over to the PlayStation and started playing Horizon Zero Dawn, which I'm not gonna lie, it didn't really grab me either. Like
you got to give it a second on Horizon, but it's really good once you get into it.
I'm like already an adult and everything, you know. I'm like,
well, yeah, you're an adult in like the first like 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, but I've already done some stuff, and I'm like, I get. It's just going to be more of this. Like,
no, I don't know, man. Horizon's different. It's like, I get it with the other one. But
does it pick up?
It picks up, dude. It picks up big time.
As soon as I got out into the open world and like did a couple of like the side missions, I was just like, maybe I'm just not in the mood for an open world.
Fuck the side missions. Go for just bite into the meat of it until it grabs you. And then you'll just do the side missions later. Worry about the story until you like are into it. Because like, I don't know. You might not get into it, but if you just do the story for a little bit, you'll start to be like, oh shit, this is getting real.
Maybe so. Maybe that's what it is. I just like, but I thought about it and I was like, maybe it's not the game. Maybe it's not Final Fantasy. Maybe it's not Horizon Zero Dawn. Maybe I'm just not in the mood for an open world game right now.
What really got to me about Horizon Zero Dawn was like, once I realized that it wasn't just some fictional world that was made up, it was like actually supposed to be like our world now, but like way like years later.
Spoilers.
Well, I mean, it's not that much of a spoiler because you'll see. It'll hit you with it pretty quick in the game. But like once I realized that, I started looking for like lore from like the old world or whatever, you know. It got really interesting to me once I got myself into the lore of it, you know. But it takes a second, you know.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the whole like Nordic look that everything has in the game. Like I don't know why, it's just not appealing to me. But like I said, I feel like I'm playing like a caveman or something. Like even though I'm playing as a chick, like I feel like she's like a cave woman. Which is weird. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It reminds me of, like, back whenever NES games, whenever there's, like, a whole bunch of caveman type games. That's what the aesthetic is just, like, cavemen, but, like, with technology. And I was like, okay, that's interesting, but I can't feel it. I mean, I will eventually. I'm gonna go back and play it.
You know, it's not for everyone, I'm sure, but it's one of those games that like it took me a second to get into it, but when I did, it like, and another thing that really got me into it was once I started like unlocking like weapons and stuff, like the weapons and upgrades for the weapons are a lot of fun, and like the way they affect the robots and the weak points on the robots, and like learning how to attack which robots, and like I don't know. The combat is a lot of fun too once you get into it. Like,
yeah, I mean, it looks fun. Like I said, I just wasn't in the mood for an open world game, so I figured out like what was up with my internet and got the Ethernet plugged to the PS4 and started streaming Resistance 3, and man, I'm having some fun with Resistance 3.
Yeah, of all the games.
Like, dude, Resistance 3, it feels like Half-Life. Like, a lot of it feels like Half-Life.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's really interesting.
I played a little bit of Resistance on PlayStation Now.
That's where I'm playing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I started streaming it on PlayStation Now.
So what do you think? I mean, like...
I'm enjoying it, dude.
Like, what do you think of PlayStation Now as a service? Like, have you tried other games, or like...
with my better internet, like now that I'm getting like 50 megabytes upload and download,
it should be running pretty good.
It's running smooth. But before that, like you could not play this game, like if you didn't have the Ethernet plugged to it.
It's pretty neat though, like whenever you get it running well, because like you can just click on anything and it's like, oh, I'll try this. It's like being at a candy store and they're like, oh, everything's free.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I really wish that they had a collection of the Resistance games, because I haven't played 1 or 2. So I'm just kind of jumping in, blind.
I'm thinking the older Resistance games probably wouldn't hold up, as far as like gameplay goes.
Maybe not, but I mean, just for the story, though.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm really digging the story in Resistance 3. I'm probably about like 4 hours into that game.
Dude, you should check out Catherine if you've got your subscription going on PlayStation Now. Still.
I own Catherine, though.
Oh, you own it?
Yeah, I just haven't played it.
Oh, man, it's good. Can I borrow it from you one of these days?
It's on PC.
Oh,
I have it on Steam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Yeah, I'll play it one of these days. I got Catherine full body.
Oh, you got the full body?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. There's like a whole extra Catherine in that game, I think.
A whole nother one. And then, so I was like, man, I want something real chill to play in between Resistance 3, like the heavy story shit. So I jumped on over I re-downloaded Rare Replay because I saw that there was like a making of behind the scenes thing for Conker's Bad Fur Day on there, but you had to get like a certain amount of achievements and stuff to unlock it.
Conker's Bad Fur Day game?
Or just in Rare Replay in general.
Okay.
So I jumped into Conker's Bad Fur Day, and I played about halfway through the game like pretty quickly. Like I know the game, from front to back.
Once you get used to the wonky control stick, it's not the worst thing ever either. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks, but it's like...
Well, I figured out that if you just don't touch the right control stick, it'll move the camera for you. So, like, I just had to get used to not touching the right...
You got to play it like an old school N64 game.
Yeah, exactly. And the only part that sucks that is a problem is whenever you go into, like, over-the-shoulder mode to, like, throw knives or something, it's inverted axes on both the X axis and the Y axis. So if you look right, it looks left, and if you look left, yeah.
What oversight on their part? Like, who did they think wanted that? Like,
I know. I tried to send them a message and be like, "Yo, are y'all gonna update this bitch?" Like,
yeah, dude, for real.
Like, it's some bullshit. They didn't even patch it or anything. Anyway, so I ended up working on that, and I was like getting kind of, like I was like, I don't want to play all the way through Conkers again. So I went through the multiplayer and like got some achievements for playing in the multiplayer. And then I jumped over to Banjo-Kazooie, which I've never actually played Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, it's fun, man.
Yeah, and so like, and it was great. Like I'm actually probably like 6 or 7 hours deep in this game. Like I feel like I'm close to the end. Of Banjo.
That's one of the few games I've ever I've seen my girlfriend really get into. Like, it's
super fun, dude.
It really is.
And I was like at work yesterday, like, man, I want to get home, like itching to collect some more fucking
those
music
puzzle
notes
pieces, dude. I go ham on those puzzles. I like the gold. Back in the day, anything that was shiny and gold in a game,
gotta catch it. Gotta catch them all. It. Yeah, like I'm doing like a 100% completion thing where like I won't leave a world until I collect everything out of it that's possible to collect, like without having whichever upgrade you need. But
you got Banjo-Tooie on there also, which is really great. Nuts and Bolts is a little weird.
It's whack.
Once you get used to like 1 and 2.
That is one that I've played. I played Nuts and Bolts and I hated it. That's why I was like, probably won't like Banjo-Kazooie if I went back to it. But I like it a lot.
The first one's excellent, yeah.
It reminds me a lot of Super Mario 64. Like, it was just like it made in the same vein, just not as like, physics based. I feel like Mario's super physics based, like with his jumping and stuff.
Totally. But even with your little bird on the Banjo-Kazooie, like, doing its little flap,
Yeah, you can go anywhere. And so I ended up unlocking the behind the scenes thing for Conker's Bad Fur Day and for Banjo-Kazooie and all that stuff, and was just having fun with that.
That's fun.
Yeah. Anyways, what have you been playing?
Well, I realized I was like, okay, I can't just play VR this whole week and I haven't had much of a chance to play at all this week, but what I did get to play was mostly VR, but like last night I was like, okay, I gotta play some kind of like normal game so I can talk about a normal game this week. So I just kind of went through my little, I've got like a library of shit on Xbox that I download and just don't play from Game Pass, There's a ton of stuff, so I was like, I'll be ready when the day comes when I'm just like, okay, I need to play a game right now, So I went through and I was like, okay, I'll try the Jurassic World or whatever game, you know?
Like the Lego game?
No, like it's just like it's called Jurassic World Evolution.
Okay.
So I'm expecting like a Turok kind of game or something. You know what I mean? I didn't do any research on this.
This is like a simulator, right?
It turns out it's like a tycoon sim kind of game, which actually ended up being kind of fun. It just wasn't what I expected. You know what I mean? Like, so you build your own Jurassic Park, and you like have you make like all the little pathways and like the little carts for the people to go around, and you make dinosaurs, and then eventually, you know, your park will fuck up and dinosaurs will get out and eat all your guests and shit. But it's a lot of fun.
Does it have the music?
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of it. I think so. I can't remember now. I think so. But it was a lot of fun. I definitely, if you're into that kind of game, like if you like, you know, tycoon games, I would definitely recommend playing it. I also played Deism, which is a side-loaded game on side quest right now for the Oculus Quest. And like basically, it starts you off and you're standing in this big empty grid, and you're like a god, I guess. And you like throw patches of earth down onto this grid, and like like humans come up and they like populate the land, and you like put animals in the trees, and you like make bodies of water and mountains and shit. Basically, you just build this world and watch like, you know, people inhabit it, and like you smite heretics and shit. It sounds stupid, but it's really, really fun. It's another kind of like Simsy kind of game.
It's like Mormon the game.
Pretty much, yeah.
You can make your own planet.
It's really neat though, because like as you build, like little towns pop up and form, kind of like, so like you build this landscape, and then like the AI in the game kind of like builds on it, you know. So like you'll be making like the desert, and like this like deserty town will pop up in the desert, or you'll be making like in this Arctic place, and like an Arctic town will pop up, and all the towns have their own little names that it gives to the towns and stuff. It's really relaxing and chill, and like, I don't know. It's satisfying.
It's weird.
And let's
Not
see.
gonna lie.
I don't know. It's one of those. If you're into like The Sims at all and you have VR, it's definitely worth checking out.
Do you get to like name yourself like as the god, and then like they're like, do they praise you and shit?
They don't know. No, I don't think so. I don't think they even realize you're there, really. Except, well, no, I guess they do, because there's heretics that you have to kill.
That's what I'm saying.
So they're like, you know.
You should be able to like drop like a book down, you know, that's like your rules, you know, your laws. Like they can only walk on one foot on Wednesdays.
You can like unleash plagues of locusts and shit on the communities if you want.
Hell yeah, dude. My game would suck. I feel bad for my people.
I'm like a pretty good god, you know. I feel like I'm a righteous god. I like to
righteous.
I like to, you know, give the people what they want. You know, I water the crops. You know, I let animals loose. I'm a pretty nice guy.
You let animals loose? I doubt that's what they want.
Well, no, like deer and stuff. So they have like meat.
I thought you meant like their food. Like you just like let it escape and shit.
Except in the desert, I tried to put animals in the desert, and it just made shitloads of rattlesnakes pop up in the desert. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm not gonna do that. Anyways, I was having fun with that, and then I got this game. I can't remember what it's called, to be honest with you, but it's a poker game in VR, and it's really, really fun. You just sit at a table online and play poker with people, and like you have all your chips stacked up in front of you, and you take your little virtual hands and you throw your chips down on the table, or, you know, if you want to fold, you throw the, you know, cards in the middle, or if you like are checking, you knock on the table. It's fun, you know. It's just poker.
Interesting. I feel like they should have just used the voice command shit.
Well, you're using your voice to talk to the other people playing poker. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I played Pistol Whip, which is a game that I talked about a few weeks ago. It's like this game where you go through this level, and it's kind of like Super Hot, and not Super Hot, kind of like Beat Saber, yeah, and like dubstep songs play, and you shoot people like John Wick. They added a new track to the game called Akuma. And apparently this is the first track of many. Like, they're going to start doing an extra track every month for this game for free. So that's exciting. You know, I'll probably give you a little update every time they update the game with another track. But Akuma is pretty fun. I'm not good enough to play it on the normal difficulty. I have to play easy because I suck. But
get good, bro.
Dude, it's hard, man. I'm not good enough. Yeah, and that's what I've been playing pretty much.
Sweet. Well, that's it for what we've been playing. We're going to jump into the topic of the show. This week's topic of the show is games that need the Final Fantasy VII Remake treatment. All of mine, I feel like this shows one, it shows my age, and two, it shows my tendency to always think or harken back to the original Xbox generation of like video games. But
you got to admit though, like a lot of games from the original Xbox generation, A, could benefit from a serious facelift.
Oh yeah.
And B, had enough legs to still be a good game.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly. I mean? It's not like it's like the first time we had like legit 3D. Like obviously we had it on N64 and stuff. But nothing like what came on the Xbox and the PS2 and the GameCube. Like that was whenever it started to get to like modern day. Like,
yeah. I will say a majority of mine kind of fall into that era as well.
That's good. All right. I feel less bad about that. But yeah, let's start this off. I'll start off with one of mine, since I know you probably have like a long... I did 5.
I did 5 also.
Oh, okay. Then do you want to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, my number 5, and these are in no particular order, but number 5 is Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30.
Good game.
Yeah,
Brothers in Arms as a series was really good. Just Hell's Highway was fun. Road to Hill 30 was the best for sure. But
yeah, it was my favorite. I feel like they really put a good story in it and made you feel like those characters were, real people. And, whenever they die or anything like that, like you feel it. You're like, fuck, that dude was, part of my team, But anyways, just reading the little wiki description just for people who aren't aware of what it is. Brothers in Arms is a tactical shooter video game series by Gearbox Software consisting of 10 individual games. The core series consisting of the first-person shooters Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30, which came out in 2005, Brothers in Arms Earned in Blood, which also came out in 2005, and Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway, which came out in 2008. For this game specifically, let me see. So in most levels of Brothers in Arms, the player is in command of 1 or 2 separate 1 to 3 man teams, with the exception of several sections in which the player is not in command of any unit. There are 2 types of teams, which are automatically provided before each mission. Fire team, made up of soldiers with the M1 Garand and the Browning automatic rifle, and used to fix the enemy with suppressive fire. Assault team is made up of soldiers usually with the M1A1 carbine and the Thompson submachine gun, and is good for flanking the enemy while they are pinned down by the player's fire team. Anyways, the cool thing about this is like the whole point of the game is to like they have like the 4 Fs, which is find, fix, flank, and finish, which is like the steps in suppressing and flanking an enemy, which was really used in World War II. So like they actually used this game as like a simulation on the History Channel back in the day to like show how like certain things would go down, and like they actually had veterans come on and show like using the game. It was legit. Like the game was really imagine like XCOM but with World War II, and first person mode.
I was about to say, because like it's not just the strategy of it, it's the strategy of it while you're taking fire. You know what I mean? It's dealing with like tactics while you're also dealing with like the normal pressure of like a Call of Duty first person shooter style game.
Yes. You could not just run up on people. Like if you ran straight at an enemy, you were gonna die. You had to take cover. You had to send your teammates to flank them and stuff like that. You had to figure your way around the battlefield at all times, which is super interesting, especially with a deep story put into it.
And it was dynamic too, because like one strategy would work, and then you could use a different strategy
to do the same area. Yeah, it's like there was no one way to get through the game. Like it was all up to your creativity and like your leading skills. So like I want to see that remade with like updated graphics and like updated controls and stuff like that.
Also, I feel like it'd be a good time to drop a World War II first-person shooter that would be like, I don't know, interesting.
Yeah, that doesn't suck.
Yeah,
like Call of Duty World War II or WW2.
World War II Call of Duty wasn't the worst game I've ever played,
but it wasn't good though.
I mean, it was good.
You thought WW2 was good?
Yeah, absolutely. It was good. It wasn't great. You know what I mean? But it wasn't bad.
Maybe that's my problem. I want great. And plus this is different. It's not like just a straight up first person shooter. It has some depth to it.
True. Okay. My number 5 would be Max Payne.
That's actually my number 2.
2? Oh, man.
Yeah.
I feel like we can all agree.
Yes.
Max Payne would be sick. I mean, first of all, Max Payne could benefit greatly from like real cutscenes. I think that would be sick. Even though the comic book thing is cool, you know, I think we could get away with doing real moody environmental cutscenes. That would be sick. You know, I think the gameplay holds up. I've played it pretty recently. It's a lot of fun still. You know, the ragdoll physics still look good. The grungy environments still look good. I mean, imagine that first level where you're in the subway and you're like shooting all the people through the turnstiles and stuff, you know? Imagine that with just like really realistic, crazy graphics. Imagine Max Payne with the stupid look on his face, but like just with insanely detailed graphics. But he's still got that like grimace on his face. Like
he's just constantly like questioning everything that you've ever said to him.
That would be so hilarious if they made the graphics like ultra realistic, but kept that like crazy look on his face. Like...
Oh yeah, dude. Max Payne is such a classic. So just like I'm gonna read this, but. I'm sure a lot of people know, but some people may have not played it. But the game centers on former NYPD police detective Max Payne, who attempts to solve the mysterious murders of his wife and daughter in connection to a drug trafficking case involving a designer drug named Valkyr. And while doing so, is entangled in a larger and complex conspiracy involving the U.S. military. It features a gritty neo-noir style and uses graphic novel panels with voiceovers in place of animated cutscenes to narrate the game, as it draws inspiration from hard-boiled detective novels by authors like Mickey Spillane. But the game contains many allusions to Norse mythology, particularly the myth of Ragnarok, and several of the names used in the game are those of the Norse gods and mythos. The gameplay is heavily influenced by the Hong Kong action cinema genre, particularly the work of director John Woo, and it was one of the first games to feature the bullet time effect popularized by The Matrix, which was mind-blowing as a kid.
Mm-hmm. And it's still implemented better than a lot of the games that do it today.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because you click in any direction and set the bullet time, and he's going to fly in that direction, and then it just gives you the freedom to start shooting as it's going in that direction. You know?
You'll be like going sideways, jumping over a desk in slow motion, and you have like full 360 degrees where you can like rotate around, shoot everybody in slow-mo as you're like hitting the ground. It's so cool.
It's so cool. And it's never explained how that works, but like why he can do the Matrix, but everyone else is just like, what the fuck, you know? But it is a really intense game that I think deserves a return to. You know, like I'm just surprised it hasn't been remade. Like, how have you not remade that game? Honestly, they could do a remastered collection of the 3 games.
Oh, man. I was about to say, 2 and 3 are also great games that don't really get a lot of shine. You know what I mean? Everybody talks about Max Payne 1. Nobody ever talks about Max Payne 3. You know what I mean?
2.
Or 2.
I think, yeah.
But they're both great, you know?
Definitely. And, I mean, it's Rockstar, so, like, I feel like Rockstar is missing out on getting that, that sweet collection money.
Oh, man. Of all the IPs they could revive, I think Max Payne would be one of the most profitable for sure.
Definitely. Especially with comics being as popular as they are right now.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, so my number 4 is Time Splitters.
Ooh, that would be sick. Like the original game remade.
Yes, just the OG one. It's a series. Time Splitters is a series of first-person shooter video games developed by Free Radical Design. The games are often compared to Rare's shooter GoldenEye 007 and Perfect Dark, since Free Radical Design was founded by a group of ex-Rare employees who developed these games. Each game features a time-traveling element which enables players to battle in a temporal war in a diverse number of locations set over the span of several centuries. The look of the series is stylized with character models and expressions emphasizing more cartoon-like qualities and comic book-inspired design, which I think is a good thing, because it would easily be it'd be like Borderlands. Like if you just updated it, like give it.
Honestly, if it was me and I updated it, I would abandon the cartoon look altogether. I know that would piss a lot of people off, but I would go for like hyper realism with like the same storyline. I think it would be excellent.
It would be. And this game was known for its co-op, so like
oh boy,
split screen co-op, which was really cool, especially for GameCube, where you didn't have many options for a first person shooter with co-op, like at the time.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool, man. Like, I love Time Splitters. It's one of those games that you just get lost in. It's so fun.
Man.
Yeah, and screen peeking was a big deal. Yeah. But anyways, so what do you got?
So my number 4 is going to be Simpsons Hit and Run.
That would be really good. Definitely. I don't see why that hasn't been done yet.
Probably because I feel like The Simpsons isn't as popular as it once was.
But it could be if they made Hit and Run. No, just kidding.
I know that everybody still has a fondness for that game, and rightfully so. I mean, of all the Grand Theft Auto clones, I feel like this is one of the best out there.
Yeah, they put a lot of love into the fanfare. Like, there were so many Easter eggs and like places you could go into from the show.
Yeah, places you could go. I was just about to say, like, when you go into like the house and stuff, like
yeah, and not even just the house. Like, you can go into the nuclear power plant and like all that stuff. There's always something to do in the game.
Treehouse of horrors and
shit. Yeah, it's a tough game too. Like, if you play like the actual missions and stuff, it gets kind of difficult.
And there's so much fun unlockable shit, like rocket cars and like just all kinds of vehicles, really. I mean,
yeah, they could easily remake that for modern day consoles and just add some tweaks, like maybe make it look prettier.
Give Bart like a slingshot or something, so you have like some kind of projectile weapon.
Oh yeah, add extra vehicles, make the world a little bit bigger and stuff like that.
Put it on Switch. No,
put it on Switch. True. That's a good one. My number 3 is Mercenaries Playground of Destruction.
Yeah, that was a good game.
It was, especially at the time. But I feel like this game would do really well today. It's almost like, I feel like that game, Just Cause, is like a weird ripoff of this game. But I feel like Mercenaries was just a whole lot cooler, like with the setting and everything. But Mercenaries Playground of Destruction is an action-adventure video game developed by Pandemic Studios and published by LucasArts for PlayStation 2 and Xbox. The game features an open-world environment with elements of potential stealth gaming and reputation-based social mechanics, and is set during a fictitious multinational military action in North Korea circa 2007. The player takes control of one of 3 mercenary characters and completes contracts in the war-torn country for profit and to prevent a nuclear war. The player is deposited in a vast sandbox environment, free to pick up missions, perform side tasks, collect items, hijack vehicles, or employ game mechanics and exhibition. As the world is a sandbox, the player can choose to do any of these activities at any time. In fact, one can level all of the world's buildings, including the faction HQs.
Which I've done. Pretty much that's pretty much what I do when I play that game.
Yeah, you just destroy everything. Imagine that on today's level, though, like of like buildings. Like,
I think that's where we're heading, okay? Because I feel like that game came out in a time where it was like, okay.
It was ahead of the game.
I think at that point, they're like, okay, we've got graphics down. I mean, at least at that point, we thought we did. You know what I mean? They're like, okay, we got graphics down. Everything in 3D looks amazing. Now we need to make everything destructible. Mm-hmm. That was like the big thing. Like Red Faction, I feel like, is the one who started the destructible environments and shit, And then this game took it to the next level, dude.
Oh, yeah, you could destroy anything. But it would eventually come back, like, if you got too far away from it or whatever. I think, like, nowadays they could do it to where it would just stay destroyed until you decided to, like, hit a reset button or something.
That would be so cool.
It would be really tight. Like,
and just have it randomly generate the world again, so it's, like, different every time. You can destroy a new city every time you do it. Like,
that would be tight. Or, like, so you're playing through, like, the missions and, like, till the end of your game, like, if you had destroyed a building that a mission was supposed to take place at, like, it's just gone, like, that mission disappears or whatever. Like, wouldn't that be tight?
Yeah, that would be tight.
Like, if you decide to play
you gotta be careful not to blow up the buildings. Like, if you're in a gunfight, you can't just willy-nilly pull out an RPG, or you might, like, blow up the fucking
and it'll like tell you, like, if you destroy it, it's like, you can continue, but you'll miss this mission line, or you could reset.
Maybe you could hire, like, contractors to, like, fix the building you destroyed or something.
That'd be kind of ridiculous
with, like, the money that you earned.
rebuild this city. But anyways, yeah, no, I think that would be a really cool game to bring back. And like and it's not even rebooting the series, just like I said, it's just a remake of
with like way more stuff. Like
yes.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, just give it the GTA 5 treatment.
Oh Lord.
But with destructible cities and stuff.
I'm all about that. Okay. This is one game that really wouldn't need any kind of like gameplay enhancement. It just needs graphics enhancements, Elder Scrolls Morrowind,
Yeah.
Just the classic Elder Scrolls Morrowind with just like badass fucking Fallout 4 engine, you know what I mean? Maybe not. I mean, it's like the craziest thing ever, but like it would look so much better than the OG,
Yeah. And it had issues on console, like on the Xbox. So
it really did.
They could, remake it and make it work.
And it doesn't really need much work. I mean, all things considered, it's a good game. You'd need to like obviously enhance the fighting and combat and like but the quest lines and stuff, I think would all hold up.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I think a lot of people would get behind that.
Mm-hmm.
My last game that I'm gonna do.
Wait, we're on 2, right?
Yeah, but we both did
2.
Max Payne.
You want me to give my 2 real quick then?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my number 2 is gonna be Jade Empire.
I saw that one coming.
Yeah.
I knew that was gonna happen.
Well, it's one of those games that I just feel like a lot of people didn't experience, and it is so good. And I feel like it's up there with like KOTOR for me as far as like stories with crazy twists and like just the beautiful environments and the characters you meet along the way. It's just one of those journeys that like sticks with you.
Even I missed that game. I played KOTOR, but never played Jade Empire.
Oh, man. It's so good. And I played it recently, and it actually holds up really well. I mean, it's still really, really fun, So, I don't know.
How'd you play it?
It's actually backwards compatible on Xbox, and I borrowed it from a friend of mine on
nice.
disc. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I actually rented it from a movie gallery whenever I was a kid, and I took it home and put it in, and it didn't work.
Oh no!
Yeah, so
you probably would have been into it as a kid. I could see it being right up your alley, like whenever we were kids.
Oh yeah, dude. It wasn't in the stars. The movie gallery gods were like, no.
Maybe we'll get lucky and they'll do a remake, and you'll get to play it how it should be played.
That would be awesome, especially since they're doing that the reboot of KOTOR. Maybe it'll spark interest in those types of games, and we could get a Jade Empire.
There's some weird shit in that game that would just be really cool with like modern graphics. Like there's a part where you meet a bunch of cannibals and shit that would be like really creepy and awesome. I don't know.
Oh, that's tight.
I don't know. It's such a good game, dude. Like,
yeah.
Anyways.
So my final game is Freedom Fighters.
Ooh, Freedom Fighters.
Yeah, I feel like this is a long forgotten game. Freedom Fighters is a third-person shooter in which the player navigates through the streets of New York with a controllable squad of teammates while fighting the occupying Soviet forces. The player gains charisma points by performing various deeds, such as capturing a base or destroying enemy supplies. The more charisma gained, the more squad mates the character can recruit, up to a maximum of 12. The player can direct recruits by giving them simple orders such as follow, attack, and defend. The Soviet Union became a world superpower by dropping the first atomic bomb on Berlin, ending World War II, and propping up communist states throughout the globe, which begin to surround the U.S. in the present day. New York plumbing brothers Chris and Troy Stone travel to meet with their next client, an activist named Isabella Angelina, only to find her apartment abandoned. The Soviet Union launches a surprise invasion of New York City, and suddenly Soviet soldiers, led by General Vasily Tatarin, seize Troy. Amidst the attack, Chris escapes to the streets, encountering a man named Mr. Jones and resistance member Phil Bagston. After recruiting Isabella from a police station and Troy from a post office, the group retreats to the sewers and sets up a base of operations as New York is lost, with the media now being controlled by the Soviet Union. So it's basically Red Dawn, the video game. Oh my gosh, this game is so good. Like, it
would be so sweet with modern graphics too. Like, you can make it way more dramatic too with modern graphics.
So much more dramatic. And not only that, the multiplayer is so fucking fun.
Oh
like,
yeah,
the multiplayer is basically, there's like four different like forts that are like made in the streets, and like it's kind of set up like a paintball field. Like there's like this whole middle area that you can travel through that has like a bunch of stuff you can hide behind or like try and get to the other side. You have to like make your way to the other side. And at the top of each of these little bunkers is like a turret, and like you can set your guys up on there, and there's a flag. So you got to get to the top of the bunker and switch the flag over to yours. And if you can get, 3 of the 4, then like you'll win. You just got to hold the forts. And like for each fort you have, you can get however many recruits from that fort. So you can set like 3 of your recruits hanging out at the fort, guarding it while you move on to the next one and stuff like that. And
well,
take
that's a
people
fun
with you.
little gameplay loop right there.
Oh yeah, it's super fun. And it's like over the shoulder, third person. It's a really fun game, dude. I hope we see it again. I think the creators went on to make Kane and Lynch. So,
That's another multiplayer game, right?
Yes.
At least they didn't abandon the multiplayer.
It's true. They're very creative with that, but I feel like that nobody's made that. Nobody's made that same type of multiplayer since then. Like where you have control over, like your squad and you're taking over bases in like a third person action shooter.
I would love that.
Me too. I miss it. Anyways, what you got?
So my number 1 would be the classic Splinter Cell.
Ooh, that's a good call.
I just feel like it would be so, because like when it came out, it was like stunning looking.
Oh god, it was beautiful.
It was leaps and bounds prettier than like half the games on Xbox at the time.
It was an Xbox exclusive too at the time.
Yeah, and it was like the use of shadows and lighting, and it was just so impressive. And I just feel like today, if you just gave it that beautiful, wet-looking RE2 treatment, you know what I mean?
Dude. It was so wet in the first game.
That's what I'm saying. Make it double the wetness,
yeah, just
bro.
like pour a fucking like tidal wave on that game.
Bucket of water, dude.
Yeah, dude.
And then enhance the thermal vision. Dude, you can make it so much fun. And maybe make the levels bigger with like more little secrets
open
and stuff. Yeah.
And that was the cool thing. Even the original Splinter Cell was ahead of the game, where like it was basically how the Hitman games are now, where you could go at it in like many different ways.
Yeah, as long as you like complete your objective. I love stealth games like that because I feel like a stealth game that's linear just doesn't.
So boring.
It is, and it's like, but whenever you have options like to like sneak through here, go through this window, crawl through the air vent, I love that.
Yeah. It's like you can never expect anything. It's always like just expect the unexpected.
Yeah, and Splinter Cell did a good job of putting you in like fun spy scenarios, like oh shit, your cover's blown, get out of there, kind of thing. I don't know, it was cool.
Hell yeah. No, that's a really good one. But before we finish up did you have like are you about to drop any of your like whatchamacallit honorable mentions?
Oh yeah, I could tell you a few. I only have a couple. I thought Dino Crisis would be kind of cool.
Oh fuck yeah.
The first Resident Evil would be cool.
They already did that kind of though.
But I mean like legit. But that's why it didn't make it on the list, because they already kind of did it. Another game that they already kind of did that with was like Half-Life, but I think it would be cool to redo the Half-Life games like with like badass graphics. You know what I mean? And Psychonauts. I think that would be cool to do Psychonauts again.
Oh, definitely. I'm surprised they're not going to do a remake of that for since the second one's coming out. But we have some responses on Instagram. I asked what are some games that you guys think should get the Final Fantasy VII Remake treatment. And Alan Z. Jonesy, which is, I believe, Aaron Jones. Not I believe. I know it is Aaron Jones. It's Alonzi Jonesy. I don't know how he pronounces that. You got to tell us. But anyways, he says Chrono Trigger, which I think.
Okay.
Imagine Chrono Trigger with like I guess like get Namco Bandai to do like the I guess art and like anime or the animation and stuff like that. I feel like that would be pretty spot on. You could just get like the Dragon Ball Z guys to re-up it. I mean, obviously they're probably not very good at making RPGs, but the game's already made, like they just got to update the graphics.
Yeah.
Like all the same mechanics. No, but that's a good one. Jason Domican 1991 says GTA San Andreas. Oh my gosh, just remaster it. 4K graphics. Don't change a thing, but graphics. Agreed. Very much agreed. And then we got Itle. I tried to read this last time. IYTLE. I'm just going to say Itle.
Sounds right.
13 instead of 3 separate games make it one slightly less grindy one with an updated combat, which I think he's talking about Final Fantasy 13.
Oh, I thought he was talking about the game
13?
13.
No.
I think they're actually doing a remake of 13 pretty soon.
I think I saw that too. But yeah, I never played Final Fantasy 13, so I don't know. I'll have to check that out and see. Have you played 13?
Final Fantasy 13?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Isn't that the one that's like online, or is that
No, that's
14?
12, I think.
No,
Or-
12 is definitely not online.
No?
No,
Okay.
12 was one of the ones that got put on Switch. It's like
Maybe it is 14.
It's
Maybe it's 13 too. I don't know. Fuck, I don't know.
There's so many Final
many
Fantasies.
Final
I hope
Fantasies.
he's talking about Final Fantasy. I don't really know. He just put the number 13. And then Gallium RR says Galaga. Can you how that would work?
Yeah,
I don't know how Galaga would work in like a modern day.
You'd have to like reboot it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or it's just Star Fox. Like I don't know. Yeah, you
yeah.
definitely have to reboot that. You couldn't just update the graphics of Galaga. I guess
I mean, you could.
It'd be like
but-
2.5D.
Yeah.
You know, like which I feel like you could just do with like a mobile game or something. Anyways, but yeah, thanks for writing in y'all's ideas for video game remakes. We're gonna jump on over to the People's Champ, the question that everybody's been wanting to hear. Here, Brent, we have some on Instagram as well. If you want to look at this,
Oh yeah, I need to check that out.
so we got here. Yep. Sorry, guys. Brent's reading. I feel like maybe in the future we should just like pick before the show, but like that's just not our style. You know what I'm saying? We just kind of do shit.
Oh man, there's so many good choices.
Really is.
All right, I'm gonna give it to Caleb U Loop today.
U loop?
U Loop,
Like you?
like the letter U loop.
Okay, Caleb, you loop.
Caleb says it's the apocalypse.
No.
And you have the choice of one video game character to take as your partner / protector. The catch is, the zombies are as strong as the enemies your fictional character would fight in their world. Who do you take, and what's your strategy for survival?
Man. Okay. Do you already have a pick?
Well, I've been thinking about it. I mean, we got to think about who's the most dominant in their world, you know? Maybe Kratos.
Yeah, I was about to say Kratos would be pretty good.
But the problem is, if Kratos does end up dying, you know, you'd have to wait for like a day or two for him to crawl out of hell.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know what I mean?
You'd get ripped to shreds like while he was gone.
It's kind of a pro and a con, because it's like, okay, he could die and then have to crawl out of hell. It's like, that might take a while. But also, if he does die, he's going to respawn.
Yeah,
you know what
and
I mean?
he probably won't die. you know, just because of how powerful he is.
If it's just trying to protect you, he could avoid like boss fights, you know, any big boss looking zombies, you know?
Yeah, and that would be the strat. You know, just avoid bosses.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not like you're trying to make progress. You're just trying to survive.
I would say Master Chief, but so many Marines die around Master Chief that he's
only
supposed to be
good.
protecting. Like,
yeah, he's only good at protecting himself.
Yeah.
Hey, Chief, we're glad to have. He's just like, all right, like, I think I've killed more Marines as Chief than anything. Like,
Well,
just
also-
flipping over fucking warthogs that land on him on accident.